All right, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Greg Deville. Welcome to the Greg Deville Let's Talk Real Estate Show. I'm live on location here at Green Valley. We're at the Driggs Title Company today. We're having a celebration with our Christmas event, and we didn't want to miss the opportunity to speak to so many of you to make sure you're aware that 2022 is going to be your year, your time to shine. That's right. I want to help you this time. This 2021, you have the opportunity to get in, and now is the time to get in. Listen, Greg DeVille Let's Talk Real Estate Show is every Thursday right here at 3 o'clock, 3 to 3:55, 4 o'clock. We're excited. And I'm so excited for you that 2022 is coming and it's your turn to get into home ownership. Now, I want to speak to many of you. I've been getting many phone calls from families that are in trouble with their mortgage. Now, if you know someone or maybe yourself who are having issues with your mortgage, know this mortgage right now, here it is. Many are upside down, behind in their payments. They owe more than they can catch up on. So here's what we're doing at Deville Realty. We're offering you the opportunity to sell your home and save your equity. Because if the bank, remember now, if the bank forecloses on your property, the problem is they keep the funds that are left over. Now, they say they're going to send them back. I haven't seen it yet where they'll send those refunds back to you. However, don't wait for someone to send you your money. We could sell that property for you. If your mother, your dad, your loved ones are having mortgage trouble, right now is the time. We want to get you in out of trouble. This is the time to get it done. Team DeVille can do it. Now, we're the largest Black-owned real estate company in Nevada. This is what we do. We help people with mortgages, whether getting in or getting out. I want to help. Let me give you my number. Get a pen, tell a friend. Greg DeVille, 702 515 4100. 702 515 4100. That's the number to my front office. You can text me direct at 702 787 7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille, DeVille Realty Group. Now, Green Valley, Henderson, Centennial, North Las Vegas, as well as the Boca Park, Summerlin area. We're around town with 3 locations at DeVille Realty Group. Now, I want to talk to those again that are behind in your mortgage. You can't seem to catch up, and the bank is not working with you on the modification. We recently just closed, in fact, just yesterday, closed on a deal that the person got behind in the mortgage. The bank would not do the modification. They wanted them to bring the balance current as far as the past due balance. Now, they weren't able to do that. They heard my talk show, Save Your Home, Sell Your Home, and Save Your Equity. Because they heard the talk show, they gave me a call, 702 787 7559. Greg DeVille, Team DeVille. You can text me at that number. I want to help sell your home, save your equity. If you know someone that's been talking about they're in trouble, they're upside down, things just are not working out very well, I want to help. Now, to those of you who you have equity in your home, right? Now, we work with about 9 lenders here in town. What the lenders can do for you is do a refinance with a cash out. Now, with the cash out refi, that's up to 80% of your equity. Now, you will have to do an appraisal to determine value, the current value of your home. Now, based on what you owe to your current value, that middle number is equity. So my wife and I owe 270, and we just had an appraisal, came in at 507. So that 230,000 in there, that's equity. So now what do you do with that? You take the equity. Now you can borrow up to 80% of that. You take that equity. What are you going to do? You're going to put it on another property, whether a duplex, triplex, fourplex, just depending on how much buying power you have. Now, I want to educate you because creating wealth through equity is our motto. We want to do generational wealth. I'm considered a wealth builder. I want to show you how to get that done. Very important that you understand. If you don't call my office, I can't help. 702 515 4100, or you can text me direct, 702 787 7559. I'm Greg DeVille. I'm the broker owner of Deville Realty Group. We're here to help. We're here to get it done. Now, many of you, you have the experience on your job. You only need 2 years on the job. Minimal. I'm going to give you the minimals. Minimal 2 years on the job. 18 years or older, and you've got 18 years on the job, depending on, of course, your debt ratio, and your debt to income ratio determines on how much you qualify up to. Now, if you're one that has many credit cards and much debt, what happens is it minimizes your amount of purchase or your buying power, if you will. So what we want to say in 2022 is get out of debt. Start paying down your credit cards. Stop wanting so much, because what you're doing is you're making money, but you're also helping the landlord to make money. How are you doing that? When you pay the rent, you're paying the mortgage. And so when you pay the mortgage, as the value increases in the property, that's equity for the landlord. So while you're paying every month before the 5th, what you're in essence doing is you're helping the landlord create generational wealth for his family. But at Deville Realty Group, my job is to empower you how to create generational wealth for yourself and your family. How are you going to do that? First, you're going to start here, 702-515-4100, or you can contact, again, text me directly, 702-787-7559. I've got to hear from you. 2022 is very important that you stop paying someone's rent. Not only are they increasing, I mean, dramatically. I'm hearing $400 increase, $600 increase on rental properties to renew your lease. Now, many of you are having to make that choice, but I guarantee if you contact me first, I'm going to tell you if you have to sign the lease or if you have a chance to purchase a home. It's imperative that I hear from you. 702-787-7559. Take the opportunity to find out where you are. Now, December 29th, we're offering at our office Credit Symposium. We just had one last week. Such a wonderful turnout. We decided we'd do it again before the end of the year. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a chance to meet with 4 of our preferred lenders at our office. You're going to call, pre-register, so we know how many are coming. We want to service everyone, so we need your name on our list. Pre-register. We know what we're working with. We can make the time for everyone to get in. Again, 702-787-7559. December 29th from 3:30 till 7 p.m. We're going to be in our office in the Northwest Valley location, 3275 West Ann Road. That's right near Ann Road in Simmons in North Las Vegas. We're going to host the opportunity to find out if it's not now that you can purchase, then when. Many times families are finding out they have a couple things they need to do. For example, your nephew. I wasn't quite ready. My wife and I, 5 years ago, weren't quite ready for purchasing. Well, probably 6, because December this month, we actually just made 5 years in our home. Now, in 5 years, our home increased equity up to $230,000. Can you save $230,000 renting? Heck, you can't save $230,000 hardly owning a home. But guess what? At least when you own it, you're creating equity. You're creating wealth through equity. And so that's what we've done in the last 5 years. Now, if we decide to sell the home, we walk away with $230,000+. But rather than do that right now, here's what I opt to do. We opt to do a cash out refi. Now, many of you may own a home right now, and you may have equity in your home. Now, if you have equity in your home, here's a benefit to you. You can take the equity, reinvest that equity, and let it create residual income. Now, when I say residual income, I'm speaking about buying more property, something that makes money. I'm not talking about getting the new Escalade, $75,000, $80,000, $90,000. That's not what I'm saying. However, invest in residual income property and let the unit pay for the Escalade. But you've got to have something that's going to create residual income in order to pay the Escalade. My wife is in one of a G5 Mercedes. Now, the G5 wagon is $134,000. Now, I don't want to pay a payment on that. So what I've had to share with my wife is let's do the rich dad, poor dad method. Let's put our money into real estate, into a fourplex unit. And what happens is with the residual income, it allows us to pay the car note through the income property, right? Because remember, a property may cost you $400,000, but you're putting down $100,000. Now, where are you going to get the $100,000 to put down? You have equity in your home. So you're going to take the equity out of your home. Maybe it's 60, 80,000, but you're going to put that. You don't need the money. You need the residual income. So with the residual, now that you put 100, you're only financing 300. Well, at 300, guess what? Your mortgage about 2,000 a month, but the units are bringing in 3,600 a month. Now 3,600, and you're paying back, let's say 2,000. Well, you have a surplus income of $1,600. So let's say you want the G5. Well, you're letting the surplus of the income that comes in from the residual on the fourplex pay the car note. So now you can have it at the expense of something that's doing what? Not only is it bringing in residual income, but every month the units are being paid by the tenants that rent the unit. So now your income continues to do what you're doing. Now you have an offset from the equity in your home, right? So now you can get the things you want. I mean, you may not want the G5. You just may need a new car, but don't buy the car before you buy the home, because that's putting the cart before the horse. Understand, first things first. If you buy a car, it's going to set you back a year, year and a half to purchasing a home. Why? Because you now went against your debt to income ratio. Car notes today are ranging between $400 to $800 a month, depending on what you're purchasing. Now, because of the interest rates on cars, they tend to be a little high. Now, when you talk about a new car note, you're talking about a new policy of insurance. Now, there's no more of this liability that you can purchase on a new car. You've got to have the full coverage. Now, full coverage on a new car is going to range between 400 to 600. Then you've got a car note that's ranging between 400 and 900. So you could be upwards of 1,000, 1,200 a month between the car note and the insurance. So what does that mean? That goes 1,000 against your income versus keeping the car you have, tune it up. Let's get the property. And now that you have a property, you're paying a mortgage, but the equity is growing on your behalf. Not only that, but you're able to purchase the home because you have more buying power, because you don't have that debt ratio with that new car. So again, if you purchase a new car for Christmas, New Year is going to set you back to purchase another home. Now, you may have great credit. Now, I'll say this to you. What happens again, it cuts back on your debt to income ratio. So it raises the ratio, meaning you have more debt that goes against your income. Now, if you have student loans, you need to be making payments on your student loans. So FHA just handed down some new guidelines. New guidelines being you could be on a payment arrangement, whereas before you had to have been making 1% of your balance on your student loan. So for instance, we had a person, they had $200,000 in student loans. Well, her payment per the FHA at that time had to be 1%, meaning $2,000 had to come out of her income, or $200, the payment was coming out at 1% at $2,000, which was going against her monthly ratio. So now they've since taken the 1% and said, we'll do with you just on a payment plan. So prayerfully, you're on a payment plan, say it's 200,000 or 50,000, you're paying 80 to 150 a month. Well, that 150 or 80 goes against your debt ratio. So for further information, contact my team, 702-515-4100, or text me directly, 702-787-7559. I'm Greg Deville, Deville Realty Group. I'm the broker owner, and we are having fun helping families. So whether buying, selling, or investing, Deville Realty can help. This is what we do. I'm at a meeting, Christmas party here in Green Valley, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to share with someone before you spend a ton of money on Christmas. Let's think about it. What do you really need for Christmas more than you need purchasing a home for generational wealth. What could you possibly really need? Yeah, I'm speaking against Christmas. Not that I don't celebrate it. It's just that we've let so many things be more important than creating generational wealth. And maybe it's because we really haven't thought about it. But I'm here to bring your attention and make you aware of what's really smart. You're in the age now where it's time to be responsible in the sense of stop paying someone else's mortgage. Because just as my wife and I have just refinanced our home, we found out that in the refi, we have profited through equity $230,000+ just paying the mortgage. Now, if I was renting this same house and the owner owned the house and I had been renting it for the last 5 years, well, I would have been paying the mortgage on this house. The owner would only have to be owing, because I paid $300 for it, right? In 2016. So now we only owe $270. But the appraisal value, because value has increased in Nevada, the benefit is, guess what? We get the equity. But as I'm stating to you, if the landlord had been renting us this house, he would be getting the equity from us paying the mortgage. So who's winning? Think about that for a moment. Who is winning? The opportunity for you to be a winner in 2022. Now, I want you to be realistic, because maybe you're not going to be able to purchase a $500,000, a $400,000 home. Guess what? Get something. Start now creating wealth through equity, because if you don't, the prices are only going to price you out. For example, a gentleman right now is approved at $300,000. Now he said, Mr. Deville, I know I don't have a lot of options, but I'm going to find something. We made 2 offers last night. We were outbidded. So guess what? We just keep trying. He's flexible. He understands he doesn't have a lot of options. He's going to make do with what he's got to work with. So when you get approved, make do with what you've got to work with. You live in an apartment. Your backyard is a balcony. Really? And now you've gotten where you can't make do? Listen. You got a Ring doorbell on somebody else's property. You put up a camera on somebody else's property. But they're getting the equity from the benefit of what you do. Oh, yeah, you're taking care of the property and you love where you live. It's not yours. And so I want to give you the opportunity to own your own. Paying someone else into someone else's wealth. Time out. We gotta take a time out. Because as we're vastly approaching 2022, it is very imperative that you start now looking out for you. Look out for you and your family. Because as you pay that gentleman's equity, and many of you that are listening, or you know someone whose landlord is now selling that home, that they have been investing 4 or 5 years into. They've been paying the rent 4 or 5 years. Well, here it is. That landlord is making like a fat cat. What is he doing? He's taking the opportunity to gain that equity that you paid into, and now he's cashing out. What does that do for you? That means you're in a position now to go look for another rental. Time out, coach. Time out. I want to put you in the game. Can I put you in the game? 702-515-4100, or text me directly, 702-787-7559. I'm Greg Deville. I'm the broker owner at Deville Realty. For someone that's just tuning in, you're listening to the Greg Deville Let's Talk Real Estate Show, live on location at Driggs Title in Green Valley, Henderson. Now, we have 3 locations in the valley. We're in Green Valley, Henderson, as well as North Las Vegas, Centennial area, as well as Boca Park, Summerlin. So it doesn't matter where you're trying to live. We have a location to assist you. We have a team of 42 members or agents on our team. So we're a team large enough to help get it done. But I got to hear from you. It's important that I hear from each of you. If it's not you, then whoever that person is that you know that this can assist. I want you to do this. I want you to give them my contact. Would you do that for me? Give them my direct number, 702-787-7559. I want to hear from them. If you have a loved one that's a veteran and they're paying rent, Let them know there's a gentleman that comes on every Thursday on Hot 702.5 that talks about real estate, that's empowering the community on generational wealth. How are you going to do it paying someone else's mortgage? Now, there's a ton of ways that you can create wealth. There's a lot of investments out there. But I want to say one of the ones that's my lane, that's my angle is, guess what? Real estate. Everybody's going to live in real estate. Now, maybe that's not your investment that you have been thinking about. Maybe Bitcoin or some of the other ones that are available. But let me say this, where are you lying your head every night? Because either you're paying rent or you're paying mortgage or you're living rent free with someone, but it's not yours. So let me speak to the person who's paying rent to someone else that they gain the equity. Let me speak to the one who's living rent free. So you should be saving your money so you can have your own and start doing what? Creating wealth. How do you create wealth from where you lie your head? Just paying the mortgage, baby. Just paying the mortgage. That's it. Just like you pay rent. You know the advantage or the difference between renting versus owning? Here it is. When you rent, your rent is due by the 5th, right? It's due on the 1st. It's due by the 5th as a grace period. Now, after the 5th, there's what? There's a late fee. Watch this. When you own a home, your mortgage payment isn't due until the 15th. It isn't late until after the 15th of the month. So not only do you get this 15 days, you can really pay it on the 29th. Just pay it before the following month so you don't get a 30-day late. Now, there's a small penalty for paying it on the 28th or 29th. But guess what? If you need to do that, that's the advantage of owning versus renting. Because if you do that with a landlord, you get a what? You get a 5-day pay or quit notice. Now you're under the gun to pay or quit. Well, with this being said, let's take the opportunity to own our own home. Now we have the grace. We have the grace of 29 days. So let's say, God forbid, something happened. You need to use those funds, your vehicle, something, right? And now you need to fix the car because you got to get to work in order to get paid to pay the bills. But if you take the money from the rent, you don't have a way to work because the car needs the funding. Owning a home, you have that grace in there. So those are some of the, not only that, the tax deductions. All right. There's some tax liabilities that you get with owning a home. And not only that, but I have at Deville Realty Group, one of the premier down payment companies who offer up to $20,000 towards your down payment. So if I could sell your home with no money down, would you buy it? I believe you would. I believe you would. How are you going to reach me? 702-787-7559. I want to hear from you. Text me. 702-787-7559. We had to jump on here. We're at a Christmas party. I'm in someone's office. I believe her name is Crystal. I said, look, I need to use office. I've got an audience that has got to hear what I've got to share. Now, as I mentioned, for someone just tuning in, December 29th, we're going to have a credit symposium. Come learn about your credit. See where you are. Learn where your credit is. If you don't know, we want to get you on board with the knowledge of knowing. It's absolutely free 99, baby. We're not charging you a dime. We want you to know on our dime. Because to run a credit report costs the lenders. But guess what? We're willing to sacrifice so that we can put you up on information that empowers you. Remember, I'm trying to empower you so that you can go into 2022 strong, having your own. It's like, leasing a car, right? So at the end of the lease, you only can use so many miles. You penalize if you go over the miles. You see what I mean? So if you own the same car, do what you want. Same thing with property. If you own the property, guess what? Do what you want. You can't paint someone else's property without their permission. Now, they would be glad for you to paint it. You know why? Because it improves their property. It increases value on their property. If you do any improvements, it increases the value of the property. That's why landlords don't want you to do anything to their property, right? They love for you to increase it, but at the same time, they don't really want you doing anything. Because the fact that you're paying the rent is helping them already. So I'm here to make you aware of what's really going on. Okay. Again, I'm Greg Deville. So veterans, if you're working you're active military, or you're retired, you're disabled, let me first say we appreciate your service. Number two, veterans, already, you're absolutely no money down. The VA backs your loan. So with that being said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to understand you can get a home based on your debt to income ratio. Now, the FICO score for veterans are merely 560, 580. We can work those numbers for you. But again, it's going to be predicated on your debt ratio. Now, do not live above, many are, and right now they want you to be more like a 43% debt ratio on the back end, 38 to 43%, right? Now, if you're a little bit high, they have a system, that can tell you what you need to do to put you in a position, if you will, to get into home ownership, right? Now, they have a thing called a simulator. Uh, and I've been getting education from the lenders to tell me how this process works. Because we personally had to go through it when we purchased our home. Simulator tells what's really affecting your score, what's making it low, what's affecting it from being where it needs to be. For example, we've had in the past, every year we do the credit symposium, and we've had people who the simulator uh, disclose, if you pay this off, it'll raise your score and take you where you need. So we've had people need to do one or two items. My wife and I, we needed a 90-day program to get us in position to purchase. What was that? We owed some IRS taxes, so we had to get on a payment plan. Okay, we got that done. 90 days of that. We got a couple credit cards that could have got us our scores and our ability to pay. It's called a trade line. Shows what you can do. Because remember, no credit is worse than bad credit. Let me repeat that. No credit is worse than bad credit. I mean, here's bad credit. At least I know you don't pay. No credit, I don't know what you might do. That's the way lenders look at it. So you're a high risk because I'm not sure what you're going to do. So what they really want you to do is have one of these credit cards. You could do a prepay, use it, don't use over a third, pay it off, pay it down, for the next 90 days, use it and pay it. They want what is called a track record to see your ability to stay on track, because nobody wants to lend to a person with a bad track record. Is that right? I mean, granted, you loan money to someone and they haven't paid you back. Would you loan them any more money? Well, that's what's happening with people right now with their mortgages who are in default. Now, being that COVID has, many have gotten laid off, many have lost the ability to pay the mortgage, right? So with that loss of ability, they've gotten behind. Now, there are some that are being able to do what is called a modification. They've gone through a forbearance. Now, the forbearance has ended. Now, many are waiting on the forbearance or the modification to adjust their payments and to put what their rears are on the rear of the loan. Now, some have gotten that, some will not. If you're speaking to someone, or maybe this information is you that I'm speaking to, contact my office. So that way we can get you in position to find out if you need to sell. Because if the bank's not going to work with you and you can't catch up to default payments, you're going to need to sell that. We just closed yesterday. Beautiful home, owned their home for 15, 16 years. And they're in their 70s now. But life happened. And so with that being said, they got in a place where they got in default. The bank wasn't willing to modify it. They heard me on radio, much like I'm doing today. I didn't want to miss the show because I want to make sure I'm giving this information. Knowledge is power, but it's dormant power in many lives because people don't activate the power. Plug into the source. Deville Realty is your source. We have the wherewithal to get things done, but I can't do it if I don't hear from you. 702-787-7559, or my front office in the Northwest Valley, 702-515-4100. Or you can contact my Summerlin office. That's me directly, 702-349-0162. Now, I've given you three contact to make contact. Now, I want to hear from you. I want to make sure you're getting this information on a regular basis, because it's the fact of the repeatedness that people sometimes finally get it. The person who just got approved recently had been hearing me for over 2 years on the radio. But you know what made him decide to contact us? Is the fact the landlord is now selling the home. Well, the fact the landlord is selling the home, what did that do for him? That had made him say, you know what, man, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of having to relocate again because the landlord wants to sell. So if that's you today and you're needing to sell your home and you've got a renter, one of the deals you may have to do is get them out prior. Now, if you have a rapport with the tenant, you may be able to work something out. You may be able to give them some relocation funds, some monies to move in order to sell your home. Now, I've had to evict several families. Now, it's not my call. It's just my job. Now, if you're in a rental position and a landlord is selling their home, I'm telling you right now, and I've asked people, please move out, because if I have to evict, I work for the seller. I represent the seller. So if the seller's telling me he's selling his home and I've got a buyer, you've got to move out unless you're in a lease. If you're not in a lease, you will have to relocate from the property. Now, with that being said, think about it. Do you want to have to try to move out on your own, or you want to get evicted? Because the problem with being evicted is it's going to be a challenge to find another home. Don't sit there and wait and take the chance, because I will evict you. It's not what I want. It's just my job. I work for the landlord. Now, don't hate me for what I do, because sometimes I hate what I have to do. But I'm asking you, don't put me in position to do it. Start thinking. If we give you heads up, we're selling. Start looking for somewhere to go. If you can't find one, put it in the storage. Go stay with mom and them. It's temporary. TT may have a room available. Whatever you got to do, don't get an eviction. I beg of you, ma'am, sir, cousin, nephew, don't do it. Because that eviction will follow you and will hinder you. It'll be a thorn in your side, and it will put you in a position that you cannot rent. Now, you can buy a home with an eviction because it doesn't matter. But if it's on your credit, it doesn't look good. Okay? It shows your either inability to pay or cooperate. Now, I'm only saying that because this is reality. The reality is people are being evicted because they're not moving out. Now, if a landlord gives you notice and you can't find anywhere to live, you can't just stay in someone's house. They've given you notice, they're selling. So I'm putting that out there for whatever it's worth to whomever's hearing, listening, or you know someone that's, again, going through this type of scenario. Just say, there's a gentleman on radio, Greg Deville by name, Deville Realty Group, and he was mentioning that your landlord can't evict you because here it is. I'm doing one now. Next week, they're going to be possibly getting the notice. We just gave them a 5-day. The problem is the landlord wants to sell the home, but the buyer doesn't want to inherit the tenant. The tenant is month to month. Now, if you're in a lease, the landlord has to sell the home and honor your lease. So you'll either have to get an investor who will honor the term of your lease, or the buyer of that, during that time of you living there on that lease, the buyer has to acknowledge your lease. So there were a few homes that I had buyers that are looking, and they're on a lease until August of 2022. Well, that means that seller can only sell to an investor who can assume that lease with that tenant. So if you're in a lease, you have somewhat of a security. But once that lease ends, the owner can opt to sell and not renew your lease, which means at that time, you need to start looking to relocate. Now, if you don't relocate because you're month to month, there again, it can result in eviction. Ask me how I know. I'm having to do them right now. Not that I like them, it's just my job. But if I can tell you beforehand what's happening, you could be ready for it. So again, if you're renting, the landlord's talking about selling, you're not in a lease, he very well can put it on the market, and he very well can sell the property. It's his choice. Just because you're the tenant and the fact that you're not in a lease empowers him to have to be able to sell the house. And again, he can't evict you. So this is part of my education information that I love to share on radio. Many people are facing a lot of different scenarios, and I like to touch on them, each of them. Now, remember, as Christmas is approaching, you know, keep in mind, don't waste a lot of money on Christmas and toys and goods if you're renting. In fact, if you have a Land Rover and a landlord, I want you to contact me. If you have a Land Rover and a landlord, I want you to call me. 702-515-4100. Text me, buy, sell, or invest, whichever position you're in. Text me, 702-787-7559. I've got to get with you to get you ready for 2022 because you procrastinated, you waited, you've been meaning to do it, and here we are at the end. You're like, man, the year went by, I didn't get with the bill. I'm giving you a chance to get a free credit report at our credit symposium, December 29th, 2021. December 29th, 2021, from 3:30 till 7 p.m. We have 4 lenders in the room that will help you learn where you are on your credit. 702-515-4100. Register now. Make it important as Christmas is. We love Christmas, my favorite time of the year, but I want people to be smart and start creating wealth. I am so happy to have learned the value of home ownership. My dad passed when I was 18 years old. He left me a home, but I was young and dumb and didn't know what I had. In fact, he had mortgage insurance that paid the home off at his demise. Guess what? I still lost the home because I wasn't smart enough to keep what my father had given me. And so now I had to go through all of this in life to come to the point now to understand that homeownership is valuable. Homeownership is wealth. And I'm going to get you in 2022 with no money down, up to $20,000 towards your down payment and closing costs. I can help you do that. But you've got to meet the requirements that are mandatory to meet that. What are the requirements? Minimal 2 years on the job, tax return for the past 2 years, the most 2 recent bank statements, and the most 2 recent paycheck stubs. Those all produce your income to show what a lender can afford to lend you on. It is based on your debt to income ratio. So as I mentioned, for those of you just tuning in, do not buy a new car. Okay, how bad you think you want it? Get the first things first. If you get the property, you can get a car. But if you get the car, you can't get the property. I'm going to say that again. If you get the property, you can then get a car. But if you buy a car now, you won't be able to purchase a home because your debt ratios have been affected. Because when you look at the insurance and a car note, man, you're talking about a mortgage these days. Because you can get a mortgage for $1,800. Well, car note and car note and insurance about 12, and you can't get liability on a new car. You've got to have the full coverage. And these car notes and car insurance, man, it's no joke. With all that has happened, insurance have increased in price. So where you paid monthly a couple years ago, yeah, lift that up or raise that a little bit. And that's what things are. So when we understand better, we can do better. When we know more, we can do better. As we learn, we grow, we know we can do better. We can make changes on those things. Again, I'm Greg Deville, the broker at Deville Realty Group. I have a team of 42, 3 locations. We're here to help. My team is knowledgeable. I train every week. If you're considering becoming an agent, look Deville Realty up. I can help you learn the business. I've trained agents that have become brokers, 2 of which in the past year and a half have become brokers in their own companies under my tutelage. What I'm giving as information empowers the community. Now, I want you to take this Facebook post, if you will, ma'am, sir, cousin, friend, share it with somebody. Share it with someone that it can help empower them in 2022. Now, I'm a 56-year-old father of 4 girls with 5 girls. Well, I've raised 9 girls. Yeah, I raised 9 girls. And I have 1 grandson that here, and I have 3 other grandsons that are in Kansas. I'll tell you what, I'm having a great time in life. I'm living my best life. And you know why? Because I'm helping so many families. Because I'm helping so many families affords me to live a great life. Do I love it? Absolutely. But what I love most is helping families. Because when I run into you at Home Depot and you fixing up the home that I helped sell you, it's a wonderful feeling to know that I've helped you create wealth. And then when you call me back in 3 years, you say, Deville, I want to sell my home because I want to buy another home. I want to sell my home because my family has grown and I need more room. I need more space. So I'm going to sell that home and I'm going to get the best price possible. This is what I do. This is what I specialize in. I'm here to help you grow your business. And the only way we're going to do it is I've got to hear from you. I'm having so much fun right now. We just got in from New York on Monday. Week before, I was in New Orleans at the Cowboys game. We're having fun. And it's helping family create generational wealth. But I can't do it if I don't hear from you. Tell a friend. Tell somebody. Share this information because it works. And if you want this to work in your life, 702-787-7559. Okay, 702-787-7559. There it is on the screen. I want you to know it, share it. I have people call. Can I give you a number, please? I give my number on the airways 5 days a week. I have the Greg Deville Let's Talk Real Estate show. So we do Thursdays right here at Hot 702.5. This is what we do, empowering you to become a homeowner. Now, if you've got to sell because you're upside down or you're in trouble in your mortgage, let us sell your home and save your equity. Let us sell your home and get you the best price we can for it and let you walk away. Person yesterday, 2 homes closed in one day. One of which was a buyer with a pool. One I saw in Henderson with the pool. The sellers walked away with $152,000. Isn't that great? And even though they were losing their home in an unfortunate situation, we were able to sell it and save their equity. And they got in their email. And I was telling her this morning, I said, we closed yesterday. And I said, you should get your money by the end of the day. Oh, she said, oh, no, Mr. DeVille. It was in my account when I woke up this morning. The escrow company had wired to her account $152,000 after all of the fees, because that's how much equity they had in their home over time. Now, how are you going to do that and get a check in your account if you don't own something? But you know who's getting that check? Let me rub it in real good with some alcohol and a cut. Let me rub it in real good. The landlord is getting the check. Because when he sells that house that you've been paying the rent on for the last 5 years, he's getting the check over $150,000, $200,000. If I sold my home, I'd have $237,000. But we chose to refinance and get into more residual income. Keep the house. Because now I'm going to purchase another home in another 6-7 months. Guess what? Turn that 6-bedroom into an Airbnb. Whatever it is you want to do, you can do it by acquiring real estate. There is so much leverage. Now, is this the only way to get wealth? Absolutely not. There are so many other ways you can get equity. There's so many other ways. And I want to show it to you. I want to give you the opportunity to learn how it's done. 702-787-7559. Give me one moment. We're back. I had to turn the light. It is getting dark outside. But listen, 702-787-7559. Greg Deville, Team Deville. I am so excited. I'm running out of time. Certainly not out of information. I am always here on Thursdays from 3 to 4 p.m. to share with you the wealth of knowledge. I'm a wealth builder. Creating wealth through equity is my slogan at Deville Realty. My team is excited. We're excited for you, but I don't want to be more excited for you than you are. I want you to take the opportunity to own a home and gain the equity. Again, I'm live on the radio at Hot 702.5 FM, 702-787-7559. At a Christmas party, I had to dip in somebody's office to come and do the show because I failed. I just didn't want to miss giving you this information. It's hot in here, but man, it's gonna be great information to empower you for 2022. So come to our free credit symposium, December 29th. Contact the office to register at 702-787-7559. Text credit repair, text sell my home, whatever service you need, text it to 787-7559 in the 702 area code. Okay? Text me. I want to hear from you, whatever service I can provide. Now, rentals are difficult. I do have a few team members, but I'll tell you what, you're better off than calling my office for a rental, you're better off going to apartmentsforrent.com. Because right now, homes are very, very difficult. And what landlords are looking for to rent a home, I can sell your home and you're going to pay more for renting when I can sell your home with no money down. So renting, let's say you rent a house and it's 1,800. You got to pay first and last. That's 3,600 plus a security deposit. You're upwards of about $4,000, $4,500, right? Guess what? I can give you the money down and half of the closing costs. And that 4,500 you're paying to rent, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you keys. And it's called homeownership. 702-787-7559. Double dog dare me, and I can show you how it's done. Try me, challenge me. I love a good challenge. So as I'm preparing to close out of the show today, I am your host, Greg Deville, and you've heard the Greg Deville Let's Talk Real Estate show this Thursday afternoon. What an exciting time of the year. It's Christmas time. Enjoy Christmas. Now, when New Year comes, don't miss the credit symposium. At least come find out. Maybe you're not ready right now, but it's never no. It's just not right now. So if it's not right now, when can I do it? When can I look to purchase? For me, it was 90 days. The lender said, Deville, you're not ready right now. Give you 90 days. At least I had a game plan. I had a strategy. So in 90 days, it gave me what to do. 94th day, I was good for $300,000. Now, at that time, you could buy more home because I bought a home that's worth 510 now that I bought 5 years ago that was only worth 300. It appraised at 300. Well, it just appraised at 310 and I only owe 270. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm telling you all to get into. Now, you're not too young to buy a home. If you could pay rent, you can pay a mortgage. You're not too young. Stop selling yourself out. I want to hear from you. Tell your friend, maybe you're not ready, but at least come to the Credit Symposium on December 29th, 2021. Contact the office to get registered so we know when you're coming. Do yourself a favor. You're going to be glad you did in 2022. At least find out it may take you 4 months, 2 months. Some people 30 days. I've had people last week, we had the class, they were approved on the spot. I had 3 people came in the office. Oh man, it was a phenomenal time. People came and learned so much. So glad they did. You will as well. I want to hear from you, okay? Come by. 3 people got approved right on the spot. Didn't know they could buy a home. Been renting, didn't even know they could purchase a home until they came to the Credit Symposium. So it's your turn now. We're coming up on 2022. I'm running out of time. So again, contact, you can text me directly, 702-787-7559. I'm going to get back to the Christmas celebration, but I did want to talk with you, but I want to hear from you as well. Can you do that for me? Share the video, share it with someone. Look us up on Facebook. Join us. We'd love to be part of your family, enjoying home ownership with you. Whether buying, selling, or investing, Deville Realty can help. I look forward to talking to you real soon. I look forward more than that to hear from you. Have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and yours. Thank you and have fun. Bye now.